Tailknottr Flyfishing knots. It is amazing that today, with all the technological advancements in rods, reels, tackle, and lines, you can buy the absolute top-of-the-line equipment, and yet you're still only going to be as good as your weakest link, which in most cases are the knots you tie. Each section of the flyline system is attached to the next by a knot. Incorrect knots can cause you to lose a fish. There has been little advancements made in knot tying until now. With the aid of the Tailknottr, you can tie all the strong knots necessary from reel to backing, backing to flyline, flyline to leader, leader to tippet, and tippet to your primary connection. With the patented Tailknottr, you reproduce the same strong knots quickly and easily every time. The tail knot, in particular, is a patented primary connection knot that, when tied, the knot can be pulled back to form a hanging loop, allowing your fly much more realistic movement in the water. In fact, the tail knot is the first knot to be patented since the late 1800s. The Tailknottr. The Tailknottr is die-cast from a metal alloy in the shape of a trout. The eye of the fish is a connection point for attachment to lanyards, retractable reels, keychains, or anything that will fit through the eye hole. The mouth holds a blade for cutting line, the bottom fin is designed to open bottles, and the tail end of the trout is utilized for all the knot tying. During the knot tying demonstrations, pay particular attention to the placement of the tackle and lines in the notches and grooves at the end of the tail. Currently, there are over 35 different knot applications the Tailknottr can tie. All of the knots are based on two primary knots, the tail knot and the nail knot. Once you've learned these two knots, you will find that with only slight variations, you will be able to tie all the knots necessary from your reel to your primary connection and more. Hand placement. Before tying your first knot, we will first cover the proper way to hold the Tailknottr while moving through the knotting process. Keep in mind, it will take you 15 to 20 times to gain the muscle memory to make the hand placements relaxed and effortless for any given knot. The great thing is you only have to learn the tail knot and nail knot. The hand placements for all the other variations are the same, only the lines and placement of the lines vary from knot to knot. Hand placement for the tail knot and its variations. The tail end is symmetrical with notches at both tips of the tail. It doesn't matter if you hold the Tailknottr right side up or upside down. When holding the Tailknottr, place your thumb and middle finger across from each other like you were going to snap your fingers. Place them just above or below the curved fin used for bottle opening. This will allow a clear view of the tail and the channels and notches you will be using to tie the knots. Now place your index finger on the back side of the tip of the tail. This point is where you will be holding the wraps in your line for many of the knots. Hand placement for the nail knot and its variations. When tying the nail knot and its variations, hold the Tailknottr at the base of the tail between your thumb and the first and second knuckle of your middle finger, with your thumb always on top. This will leave your index finger free to hold the line wraps on the end of the tail as you go through the knotting process. Tackle placement. First, thread your line through the connection eye of your tackle. Make sure you leave enough tag end to complete the knot. This will usually be approximately 6 to 8 inches of tag. If the tackle being used fits in between the Y and the tail, place the hook in one notch and place the main line and tag in the opposite notch. If the tackle is too long, you can place the connection eye behind the notch of the tail and place the lines in the opposite notch. Or you can hang the line around one tip of the notched end and place both lines in the opposite notch. In order to keep your tackle from moving, always keep a small amount of tension on your lines pulling away from the tackle. Line cutter. When cutting line, notice the blade in the mouth of the Tailknottr is slanted. Place one end of the line to be cut in the mouth of the fish. Hold the line with your thumb on the side of the head. Depending on how you hold the Tailknottr, Always push or pull the line to be cut towards the eye of the fish. This is the best angle to cut the line from. The blade in the mouth of the tail knotter sits closer to one side of the mouth than the other. When you trim your tag ends, pull the knot up to the blade on the side of the mouth the blade is closest to. After a little practice, you will feel the knot touch the side of the blade. Hold one end of the line in place with your thumb and proceed to push or pull the line across the blade